Big Business. We are a podcast about doing big business in small towns. My name is Jennifer Olson, and I'm the Director of Business Development for the City of Marion, where we're recording from, and This is my co-host.
I'm Russell Williams. I'm Director of EThOs, and we're a small business incubator, some co-working spaces, training and development here at the Citadel Building in downtown Marion, Illinois on Tower Square Plaza. We thank you for joining us. We want to thank our sponsors for making the Small Town Big Business podcast possible, and that includes Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, the Swinford Media Group, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and of course our producers at Union Street Art.
So thanks for being with us. I would encourage you to go out and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. We are on all the big platforms like Apple, Spotify, Podbean, you name it, we're there. We also have a video version that goes on YouTube if that is your style. And so make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you are new to us, please go back and look at and listen to our older episodes. We're well over 75 episodes at this point. Wow. There's some really great stuff out there. So
75, I forgot about that. That's excellent.
Well, and it was interesting. I was listening to a podcast this week, and they said that this huge percentage, it's in the high 80s, that never make it past 22. I don't know what the significance of 22 episodes is. Maybe that's twice a month for nearly a year. I don't know. But we're in a rare group, so it's pretty cool.
There you go.
So speaking of special people and special things, I have some great guests today. So we wanted to introduce our audience to Gail and Sam Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And their business is Big Blue Q, or Blues.
Big Blues Q.
Big Blues Q.
BBQ.
Yes.
Yeah,
BBQ. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in Creel Springs, Illinois, which is part of Williamson County and kind of near Lake of Egypt. And with that, I will quit talking and let you all tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh,
Go right ahead.
Well, we were high school sweethearts and married right after high school, and Gail was most of the time stay-at-home mom with our son and daughter, and I worked for, and still do work for Southern Pride. They manufacture commercial barbecue pits. They were a business here in Marion for decades, and moved to Tennessee when we had an ice storm in 2009. So I've been working remotely since then. Okay. But still work with them. So that's kind of, I was around the barbecue pits since 1982. We did a lot of cooking for our distributors and for customers that would come in. So I got to, I wasn't actually in the kitchen part of the business, but I got to help with that there and use the smokers that way. And then we started kind of cooking for like family and friends, and we did our son and daughter's food for their wedding reception, and then Gail, she likes antiques and primitives, rusty junk and crap, and so she started doing a twice a year. She called a gathering at our place right there in our front yard, and
2011.
In the lots in front of our house. And she started having vendors that were friends set up, and for 2 days on the weekends they would sell their antiques and primitives, and people needed refreshments, so we started doing the food for the refreshments. And, well, then we built the building, and it was more to make it easier to do the refreshments for
you got to feed all those people.
They come hungry.
They are.
Yeah.
They stay a little longer if they can eat. Find some junk for a while. The guys can go and sit and eat. Yeah. And we kind of had a competition at first because I had a building with junk in it, and I'd say, well, who's going to make more money, me or you? Perfect. Mine went down.
The third year, it was where you really lost.
Sure.
And what year did the stand start?
We actually opened in February of 2015,
Okay.
So we've been open 9 years now.
Yeah,
and
celebrating 9-year anniversary.
It's the stand is typical what you expect of a barbecue shack or a barbecue joint. It keeps getting added on to, and it looks a little funky, but I think that's kind of the grassroots of the down home part of barbecue. Is it's more of a it's not so much of a it's not the corporate, and there are barbecue chains for sure, but it's more of a mom and pop type business than what some restaurants are.
Yeah.
And
Started with just a little building with a little porch, and then now when COVID hit, we were always walk up, but when COVID hit, we didn't want people to stand in line and close to each other. And when the restaurants closed and you couldn't go in to eat, just all of a sudden one weekend, it was lined up. And we would go out, take the order, the other girl would go and deliver their order to them. And many times Sam had to do the walk of shame because we ran out of food. We've always tried to cook good and fresh. We all work hard for our money.
Now that walk of shame, we're 2 blocks off of Route 166, and we're in a residential area of Creel. So that walk, people during COVID, people would be lined up out on 166 down toward the park. That's how long the line was. So that was a little over 2 blocks walk. Now I walked that, and out of 35 cars, only 2 people hadn't pre-ordered when I made that walk.
We very much encourage pre-ordering, especially during that time.
So I get a text message every Friday that tells us what the
You're
specials
on that,
are.
aren't you?
I'm on the list. Been on it for a few years now.
We send that to over 1,700 people
No kidding.
every week.
That is very effective.
Yes,
Because I always look. I may not always come, but I
No.
always look to see what you got.
But you know what we got.
Yeah.
Or if for some reason we do have to be closed, that is a good way to
Let
allow
them know.
everyone to know
Yeah.
between that and Facebook.
That's excellent.
But it's
We have
amazing.
Gail Jeter was a teacher at Marion High School for years and years and years. Well, he worked at Southern Pride there for a few years after retirement, and he did a really good job teaching people how to put the pits together. Well, Gail's on that same text message that you are, and he and his wife were on vacation. They were outside the country, and he said,
No reception anywhere.
they hadn't got a phone call in a day, and all of a sudden he gets a ding, and there's that text message telling him what our specials are for the weekend, and
It reached him wherever he was.
Well, for being in the country, you're on a pretty busy highway. 166 is between Route 13 just outside of Marion and goes all the way down to Johnson County, and it's fairly busy. So you've got a good spot. You don't have a lot of competition around there either.
No.
If you're looking for food, you're hungry.
If you're hungry. That's
you know,
right.
we do have the Sugar Creek Cafe, and the guys from Triple E have that, and then we have the Mini Mart too, and they do quite a bit of different stuff. I think they've added fried chicken recently, but so they're there. But Creel's not big. It's just a wide spot on 166 nowadays.
So where do you think your customers come from? Any idea?
Actually,
They come from Mount Vernon, Harrisburg, El Dorado, Murfreesboro, Vienna.
Wow.
They're from all over.
Pankyville. One guy from Pankyville, and a few.
We've got one fella that brings a cooler because he drives a ways, and he will pre-order 4 or 5 slabs. And bring his cooler, put them in the cooler, and take them back home.
And a lot of people that are, that have places at the Lake of Egypt, have homes, summer homes or vacation homes at the lake. They come there because, and the people at the lake have been really good about promoting us because, like this past Saturday, we had some customers come through and they'd never been there. They said, we bought a place at the lake, and everybody tells us we need to come here. So this is our first time. We've been around 9 years now, and we still have somebody new every week. Seems like.
They come up on cars, on tractors, horses, 4-wheelers.
So
Amish, there's an Amish community out there.
Not
so much.
Not so much now. That was
our Amish went back home.
Okay.
We do have some Mennonites that come through.
I see. Okay.
And we just
now the Amish down by the lake over by on the other side, they're still there, but the ones that were there in Creel have gone. They moved back to Ohio or Kentucky, wherever it was they were from.
So you've mentioned shack, restaurant, lines of cars, and a Friday text. So let's just pretend that somebody doesn't know what to expect, doesn't know how it works, doesn't know your hours, and kind of just talk us through what your place is like and how you interact with your customers.
Well, all right. Gail's the face of Big Blue's Q.
I'm the window girl.
If somebody's had, if they've had, I've seen her with halfway out the window hugging somebody because they'd gone through a bad something, So if you see, when people are going to see her first, and our family's there too. We have several different people in our family that work with us.
But when you come up to Big Blues, we're open Friday 4 to 8, Saturday 11 to 8. Yeah. And you can pre-order by texting or calling. You don't have to. But again, you take a chance if you're driving very far, if you're after something specific. Yeah. Every weekend we have ribs and pulled pork. All of our sides are loaded potatoes, loaded nachos.
That's our standard fare.
The potatoes are usually about 2 pounds if they're fully loaded. So. And then every weekend we have specials. This weekend is a smoked Italian beef and chicken legs, and that all rotates. Yeah. So somebody will come up and they'll say, "Oh, do you have smoked bologna this weekend?" No, But even if you pre-order, go ahead and come to the drive-thru, and we're kind of like some of the bigger chains. We have the first window. You come, you order, or tell us your name. Hey, I'm Jennifer. I pre-ordered, and then you pay there. And then, like some of the bigger chains, you go down to the next window and pick your food up down there. Yeah. It's all carry out. You're welcome to, if you want to pull up and just get out and walk to the window, you can. But we just don't have our walk-up window anymore like we used to. Yeah. So.
Well, we have picnic tables scattered out in the yard. People come out and set the picnic tables. One guy every week, he just pulls out in the front yard, parks and eats in his truck, and then he goes on.
We don't make everything. I'll make our sides.
Yeah. Is everything locally sourced? Is the meat?
We as much as we can. As far as local, it's Bierman's Meats.
Okay.
It's out of Albers, Illinois, and that's pork butts are fresh. It's processed there. Baby back ribs and things like that. They don't have enough volume of that to provide what we need every week. So those are packers. From a Excel Foods or something like that. But it's as close as we can get it to that fresh. Okay. We use, like most Cusimanos, for our produce, and Sam's Club for a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's not. We're not buying pre-made beans, pre-made.
No, we make
potato salad. It's all made in house.
Right.
So when we're out, we're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you said this is go ahead.
We cook fresh for Friday and fresh for Saturday. So
yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, so we tell people, and like with ribs and things like that, it's you can't put another slab of ribs on and pull them off in 5 minutes. So it's when they're gone, they're gone. Yeah. And that pre-order has really been the way to go. And
especially if there's larger orders. This weekend we've got a couple. Not just the catering for the Valentine for that church, but a couple birthday parties that have ordered larger amounts of barbecue and beans and things. Mm-hmm. So that helps if they know, let us know ahead of time so we can know what to prep.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we really got into the catering, so please do tell us about that. And then if you could wave a magic wand, how far out would be preferred?
Yeah. We, like I said, we can do food that is just provide the food for you. If you need us to serve it, we've got people we pull in, family and friends that we pull in, and all help. And we come, we serve it buffet style. I always tell everybody, I'm sorry, we're not fancy that we go around to the tables, but we're glad to set it up buffet style and serve you, and then clean our mess. And then we always try to take plenty, leave what's left, and then head out and let them enjoy their weddings. We went to Carbondale and delivered for Prairie Farms for Christmas parties and things like that. We haven't served it there. I guess that's
Eisen has a spring food there quite a bit too.
Eisen's
for different projects they've got going on. They'll have a spring food. So.
We're getting ready to do one in the middle of March at the Pavilion, and that's going to be like 400 people. So we'll be pulling all favors in for that one. So.
A week to 2 weeks. As long as we know a week to 2 weeks ahead, we're good to go. We've had 3 or 4 caterings on a Saturday, and
those are hard. We cater anytime through the week.
We're small.
You're busy.
We're small. We have our Saturday business, and it never fails on a week where you have multiple caterings to do, it never fails. The drive-through can be completely empty, and as soon as you need to get that food out the door, there's a line of 10 or 15 cars. And all of a sudden, there's only one person left to get it all together, or less than one.
Yeah. How many folks are usually there on a busy weekend, employee-wise?
3 or 4. There's 3
and
or
those
4.
family?
They're all
family?
Yeah. Now, we have some friends, but they've been friends so long, they're family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And our daughter works there. Our grandkids.
Our oldest granddaughter is 17, and when we started, she couldn't read. I mean, she was so little. And when we started the spring and fall gatherings, she would say, "Do you want a red can or a silver can? So do you want a Coke or a Diet Coke?"
Oh, there you go.
Which drink would you like?
Yeah.
And she's now 17, and she helps some, and
Yeah.
she's kind of busy cheerleading and all that.
Sure.
but,
It's a
you
good
know.
way to teach work ethic. I mean, family
Yes.
business, and
Yes.
this is, you don't have to go look for a job. We've got a job for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
excellent.
Yes.
Our middle grandson said that when he takes over, they're going to have ice cream and gas.
There you go.
Smart.
I like that. Growth opportunity.
Yes.
Well, and I love that too, because we're looking at the fact that 70% of small business is owned by boomers, and a lot of people don't have an heir or somebody
Yes.
who's been with them a long time that it has interest
Yes.
in keeping it, much less keeping it and making it their own. So that's pretty special.
Yeah.
Speaking of special, I don't want to gloss over how it started. And so, is the gathering sustaining? What does that look
Well,
like?
we did it for 10 years, made it through COVID and everything. The last one we had was October 11. 21.
21.
21.
I just, a few days before that gathering, I told him, I said, "I just think this is the last one." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "There's nothing wrong. It's time. It's time." We managed through rain every time.
It rained every time.
One year we had 16 inches of rain.
Oh my gosh.
And it was held in our front yard at the time.
Yeah.
And we since moved it to the wood in the front.
Makes parking a little difficult when it rains that much.
And I had been down in my barn and hadn't seen it, and walked up there about noon, and I mean, it looked like a cattle yard. I didn't know that yard would ever come back out of it. But you know what? We were swamped.
Yeah.
People love it. And so many memories. When I posted on Facebook, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to have it anymore." One of the ladies, it was on a Sunday morning, and one of the ladies told me later, she said, when Mom got in the car, I told her, "Mom, Gail's quitting the gathering. What are we going to do?" She said, "I cried all the way to church, all through church." I said, "I'm so sorry, but it's just time. It's just time." So we focus more, on Big Blues, and of course that's an every weekend deal. So the other was twice a year.
Well, it's helpful. It sure helped me. The gatherings, I dreaded them from the day they ended till the next one started. But once they started, it was perfectly fine. We had a good time. But it was, I still work full time at Southern Pride, and the barbecue stand is our side business, and it's
a side job.
But it's a full time. It's a full time job, and we're open we're only open 13 hours total, and we each have well over 40 hours a week in it. And it's. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on the backside of that, and
because we do make it all ourselves. I mean, we do have definitely wonderful that come in and help. But Big Blue, or like he says, me, the other Big Blue.
Yeah, I probably should have changed the name to her or something.
I wanted it called the Rusty Pig because at the time I was doing the gathering.
Well,
it's his.
I've always called her Bugs, so we probably should have called it Bugs Barbecue.
No,
I think it's a great
okay.
name.
But,
Yeah.
So.
But it's you don't think so much of that is the front side of it is meeting the people and putting the food out the window and people saying, "Hey, I really love the food." That's the best of the best right there, and that's what we really want.
Yeah.
It is people. Even during COVID, there were a lot of places that couldn't even be open, and we were fortunate that we could be open, and it got down to the point where things were getting so expensive, and for us prices went through the roof. We didn't do pork steaks for probably
quite a while.
For sure, several months after during COVID. We couldn't price them for what, they were costing more than what we were selling them for by a good bit. We held our prices on pretty much everything. I think
we've had to raise a little, but not much.
But not much. Yeah. And our prices are pretty close to what they were when we opened in 2015, and we kept it like that through COVID too, because we figured people were going through the same things that we were going through, and we wanted to kind of make that. Yeah. At least they could feel like they could come there, and it was kind of it was still normal. The line wasn't necessarily normal. My dentist said that he was going to make me wait as long for my next appointment as he had to wait in the line to get his food. And I think he waited 55 minutes or so to get his food. But it was, he had a good long stretch there.
Luckily, he was joking.
He was, I hope. But I said all that just basically to say that, we do put pride in that food, and we want it to be good, and we want people to enjoy it, and we want them to feel like when they go away from there that they're full, that they're not, we've not shrunk it down, we're not, it's a good sized portion. It's a good value for your dollar that they can, because they're driving, they're not coming. We have our town supports us just fine. The people in town, come there every weekend.
So I love that you all were high school sweethearts, and that you've made it 40 years is fantastic. Do you have any advice for your younger self, or things you wish you would have known before you went down this adventure?
With him? No,
marriage or I was thinking of the business, but if you want to give pro tips in this world.
This is going to be released, so be careful what you might say. I was going to ask you about the family that worked at your business, but I'm not going to ask that. They may listen.
Well, as far as this business goes, I wish we did it 20 years ago.
Oh,
really? I wish we'd have done this, 20 years ago. And I wish and I think that would have made a difference with our kids. Now, our kids have done just fine as far as, their occupation. They're well-rounded adults, but that may have started them off on this, they may have gotten into the business earlier. At the point we started it, our kids were already pretty much established in their career. And it may work out for the grandkids to do this, and that's what we hope. Right. But, if we'd have done this years ago, it might have had a little different outcome on our family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think.
Do you still have the barn full of antiques?
Well, actually, I had somebody come up and want to know if I would sell it.
Okay.
So I did.
Okay.
But, I'm still filling it back up.
She's not telling it all the way.
I have another building that's still got some stuff that I'm going to move over to there.
Yeah, and there's a pole barn that's supposed to house tractors and things like that. That's full of maybe some other stuff.
Your tractor's in front of the truck. I can't get
it. The tractor's outside and the junk's inside. Figure that
one.
That's great.
But that's.
Well, we may have a pop-up barn sale or something in the summer.
Yeah,
who knows?
Who knows?
No,
I may have a dumpster out there someday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to be involved for a number of years?
Yeah, we just turned 60, so we're we're still feeling pretty good. So we plan on staying with it for a good while.
A few more years. Let the grandkids get up a little bit bigger and go from there.
What's good about a small business is that you guys can close. You mentioned vacation. You guys went to Hawaii at one point, and you guys, you're not driven by the business.
No, and when we started, we did not want to be so far involved in that if we didn't want to close, we built it a little as we went, and we don't owe anything on it. Mm-hmm. That does let us keep our prices down a little bit because we don't have a big high overhead. But also, if we need to close or decide this weekend we're taking off, we can't.
But we don't. I mean, we
don't.
We say that,
there.
but we don't want to do. We do keep a regular routine, but we can't. And we've had things happen. Gail's grandma passed, a few years ago.
Lost a grandson.
Yeah, lost a grandson. So we had to.
And then take off for the fun things too.
Yeah, we do.
But we don't often. No. People ask, when do you close for the winter? We don't close. Mm-hmm. And actually, if it's real snowy and we've already got a bunch of food cooked, we'll start delivering. Mm-hmm. You order it, we'll take off in the Jeep and go deliver it.
Yeah, we have done that. It was 12 or 14 inches of snow. We were out delivering food, but that's fun too. And the main thing with this business is it's fun. it's hard work, but it's fun, you know.
And
now
the
Christmas,
customers.
when we did the Christmas cooking this year, if you'd asked me about 10 o'clock that morning if it was fun, I wouldn't have said it was fun at all. I was beyond
and
tired. But.
we normally, for Christmas, we cook Christmas Eve morning, and you pick up, you know, by noon. But this time it was Christmas Eve was on Sunday, so we decided, let's just do it on Saturday. We'll go ahead and be open too. I think it was like 170 something people that come
Oh
through.
my God.
Most of those were pre-orders.
It was crazy.
I didn't walk home. I didn't walk home mad.
That's good.
So we made it.
Yeah.
So I love that you're inspiring your grandchildren and others in your community, friends and family. But is there anybody or anything that inspires you that you look up to or you have guidance from?
For me, it'd probably be him. I mean, he works Monday through Friday and then gives up every weekend. A lot of evenings he's cleaning the pit. He's got to have that pit clean every week, which is what we want.
It's teamwork. We work together as a team, and always have. And it's it's whatever we're doing, we're working together. We fuss sometimes, and you know, I used to tell her I was just a pack mule whenever she had the junk and the antique and primitive business, because all I ever did was pack her stuff.
It's
you know.
junk. Go ahead, go.
You know, that but you know, we just work together, and you know, we have the company Southern Pride has been, you know, they're really good people to work for. You learn a lot. I've learned. I mean, they get credit for so much of what goes on in Big Blue's Q because I learned so much from there, and even. I've told them that it's really changed my perspective on these smokers because I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm on the other end of that phone, if you will, from what I'm used to doing. And whenever I tell people now, when they're asking a question, and I can say, hey, look, I do this every weekend, and this is what I do, and this is what this should do, and they listen closer because, hey, this guy's doing the same thing that I am. So I think that. I hope that, you know, I always hoped that I was being a good representative for the company, but I feel like I'm able to be a little bit even more of a representative for the company and give back some of what I've learned, you know, because the cooking side of that was kind of the icing on the cake, basically from the job. It's helped me and Gail start a business that we wouldn't have been able to do without that equipment. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're able to kind of give back a little bit on that too, and I hope on a day-to-day basis, you know, we're doing that. You know, I've been there since I've been with Southern Pride a little bit longer than I've been with, well, not longer than I've been with you, but married.
Worked there.
Yeah, I started in '82 there at Southern Pride, so I've been there since. The grandfather, it was a father and son that started the business, and he's the grandfather to the boy that runs the business now. But when I first started there, this fellow was still alive, and I was a janitor at Southern Pride, and he said, and that's all he ever called me was janitor. I don't think he ever really remembered my name, so he'd just say, hey, janitor. He'd say, I got a project for you, and so we were going someplace in his car one day to do something. You know, I was an 18-year-old kid just out of high school, and he said, janitor, if you'll stick around here, this business is going someplace. You know, I'm a dumb 18-year-old kid, just had graduated high school, thinking, what does this old man really know? You know, and he did. You know, now there's there's smokers all over the world, and we're listed in for Europe now, and we have a German distributor. So, you know, we've got to see that business. It started in 1976. I came to work for him in '82, and then. You know, we've got to see the business grow, and then our business has grown out of that. So it's been, and they're, you know, it's just a father and son that had a barbecue restaurant looking for a better way to do barbecue. So they developed the barbecue pits, and now all these decades later, you know, we're using that technology.
For our grandkids.
Our grandkids. So
that's excellent.
I feel like we got a 2 for 1 because we got an origin story on Southern Pride.
We need to make sure Southern Pride gets this recording.
Talk Big Blue's Q, so this is awesome.
Yep. As we wrap up, is there anything that we haven't asked that you'd wish we would?
Well, I guess if if people are gonna, and it seems like in this day and age, there's a lot of people looking to do something that they can operate on their own, small businesses and things like that. And I guess what I would tell people is that if you're going to start a small business, do something that you enjoy, do something that you like to do, and don't get stressed out about it. Just enjoy it. We've always said that we were going to be thankful on the good days and the bad days, and there's been far more good days than bad days, and that makes a big difference, and don't let it overwhelm you. Just take it in. They say that the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, but the thought of that elephant is overwhelming. But don't let it overwhelm you. Just a bite at a time until you get it accomplished.
So
well,
good.
and our customers are majority all wonderful.
Yeah, they are. They are.
But I think I would just want to say that in this day and age, it's tough sometimes. So just be kind.
Yeah.
Well, Sam and Gail Blue, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for taking some time off from work and everything. Food service is a really tough business, so congratulations.
Thank you.
You've built more than that as a family and community builder. That's sensational.
Thanks.
We've been
Appreciate it.
we're humbled every weekend. That's a humbling experience to see those cars pulling that driveway.
Yeah.
We're thankful for it.
Remind people how to find you, where you're.
Oh, it's easy to find us. We're just off of 166 we're on Broad Street. You'll see the little red building at the end of Broad Street. Yeah. And that's us.
In Creel Springs. And then we can call for catering. What's that number?
618-922-1130.
And how do I get on the Thursday evening text messages?
Text me at that number.
Okay.
And then that way I can get you guys on.
Yeah. Never fails. Every Thursday evening I get a text
That's right.
message. That's awesome.
exactly
And also, the specials are released on Facebook, correct? So either way, whether you like the text or check Facebook.
Check
and
Facebook, it's on there.
when you have, not if, but when you have a good experience, please share it with somebody so that we can help you all grow your business and attract some new folks down to Creel.
Always like to see new faces.
Awesome.
What's data-driven? What's that guy?
Clark.
Clark Keller.
He's the guy that got us started on
With
this.
the text. Yeah, well, it's his service. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's excellent. Yep. Well, we want to thank everyone for being part of our small town, big business. Almost said big blue Q business. Small town, big business community. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you again for our sponsors, Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Swinford Media Group, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and our producers at Union Street Arts. If you need any recording needs, reach out to Luke O'Neill at Union Street Arts. If you want to know more about EThOs, the small business incubator, co-working spaces, and training development, we have a new website, and you can go to ethosmarion.org.
Thanks again for joining us. Hopefully you're already a subscriber, but if not, hit that button on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss an episode. And just appreciate you spending time with us and learning a little bit more about what is possible in small towns. You don't have to be in a big city to find success. So as we learned from our guests, get off the start line, just get out there and do it, do what you love. And if you have the opportunity to do it with family and friends, even better. Let's build that community. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Williams.
And I'm Jennifer Olson. Thank you.